Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the official, uh, the official Coffee with Scott. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little experiment, and that is, and this is going to be session number one, by the way. So what I'm going to do is I was actually talking to my wife yesterday about this, and she was actually encouraging me to do it. Is to do these little short sessions that we could, hang out for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops, have a cup of coffee, and kind of give you something that you can sink your teeth into as far as like a nugget of whether it's inspiration, whether it's motivation, or whether it's just a little nugget for your business. So, what I decided to do is start it up today, which, if you're watching this live, it's going to be on a Saturday. So this is going to broadcast on a few different platforms. So we'll see how it goes. All right. But today's topic is really going to be the new currency. All right. And I've talked about this before, but right now it's even more important than ever. And so I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to give you something to think about. I'm going to talk about two different areas where this applies and why right now, even though times are hard, times are tough, and we could be, we could really be, digging a hole in the sand and putting our head there so we don't have to deal with this or tell me when it's over, right? Mindset. And we don't want to do that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to share my thoughts on, this being an opportunity to leverage what's happening, but also see how there is a new form of currency that's going to be big, and it's going to be even bigger than it is right now as we move forward. Yesterday, I was on a call with my brand creators over in the academy, and we did a live call similar to this, but everybody was on screen and everything. And there's a lot of people that could be feeling down about their business, about where they're at, about their life. One guy had just recently moved to Italy. And we all know, not doing that good there, right? Like, man, I mean, terrible. So a lot of stuff to deal with, but he really has a good outlook, and he's really planning for the next part of this thing, right? Of this crisis that we're in right now. So he is going to be leveraging this time. Okay. And we're going to talk about that. Now, I just wanted to wait a minute before I got into the meat of it here. But I wanted you guys to do me a favor. Okay. If we're going to have coffee together, I need to know that you're there. So if you guys can drop a comment, let me know right now. You don't have to let me know what you're drinking. I usually say, hey, what are you drinking? Tea, coffee, your maybe juice of choice. But just let me know that let me know that you're there. And let me know if you think this is a good idea, if I should be doing more of these. And I'm thinking about turning it into a daily where we go ahead and we do maybe, like I said, daily, at least through this crisis. Maybe even we'll extend it. But I'm going to be doing these at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I think the reason why I'm setting a time is because I think people need to, they need to have something to look forward to, but they also can then show up. Right? It's like we can show up and say, okay, Scott's going to be there at 10. I got to meet Scott for coffee. All right. So we're going to call this Coffee with Scott. I'm trying to think of like a cool name too. Daryl, what's up, man? Yeah. Bulletproof as usual. Keep them coming. Awesome. Daily sounds good. A media zone not on Pinterest. I almost said Pinterest, on Periscope. What's up? Buffy Girl 70, Deb Sis. What's up, Deb Sis? Awesome. Glad that you're here. But yeah, so thinking about doing these on a regular. So I'm going to starting today. This is going to be session one, and I'm going to do these on or in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to show up with my coffee, and I'm going to give you my thoughts of the day or my nugget of the day to hopefully help you, motivate you, inspire you, and all of those things. So let me kind of get into it. All right. I'm just going to pull up my notes here because I just want to stay on track too, because I want to keep these really kind of to the point. So right now, like I said, we can sit there and we can think about all of the bad things, all of the things that are going wrong. And oh my gosh, I can't leave my house. The businesses are closing down. Hotels are suffering. Events are suffering. People can't pay their rent. Like there's all of these things that are going on. And you're right. It's terrible. But what we can do in this time is we can look at and go, okay, what is something that if I had in my business or in my life right now that would help me if this ever happened again, right? And so the first thing that I want you to think about right now, there's going to be two things, but there's one thing that I want you to think about right now. Our time, I look at our time as currency, okay? There's only so much of it. We can't make any more, right? So that time that we have is very, very valuable, very valuable. Okay. I mean, you're taking out, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your day to sit here with me right now, having a cup of coffee and talking about this stuff, right? So I understand the value of time, but here's the deal. There's probably a lot of you, maybe not all of you, but a lot of you that have been putting things off. And I'm mainly talking around in business, or it could be in life. Maybe it's like, well, I want to start exercising. Oh, I want to start, eating better, whatever, right? You put it off until the time is right, Well, right now, we are almost forced to stay home. We're forced, to basically hunker down and do some things, right? You might be getting yard work done right now that you've been putting off. I know I did. Yesterday, I did a little bit of yard work. And actually, it's funny. I actually went out there to do it to get myself out of the office, get myself out of my normal, daily, surroundings and being outside. And it was a beautiful day. And I'll probably do it again here today. But my point is this. Our time is so valuable and we only have so much of it, right? We have so many hours per day and we only have so much time on this earth, right? Like, so we need to understand that. But the other thing that we need to do is we need to prioritize what we're doing with that time. And so right now, if you've been making excuses up to this point, as far as like when this, whole coronavirus started and, really kind of waking us up to see, wait a minute here, like we need to take this time that we have. There's nothing we can do about it. We have the time now, right? We're sitting in our house figuring out what to do. So what we can do, and a lot of times I relate this to business, but a lot of times what we can do is now we can start focusing on building assets in our life and in our business. Now, you are an asset. You personally are an asset. I want you to remember that, okay? Because as you're building skill sets, as you're learning, so you could take this time and you can read books, okay? You could read this book right here. I'm reading it. Tiny Habits. It's basically small changes that could change your life, right? Like I'm reading this, right? And it's simple things like, when I make my second cup of coffee in the morning now, when it's brewing, I go out in the garage and I do 2 rounds of curls, or I do tricep pull downs, or I do bench press, or I do something. It's right there. And there's no excuses, right? That's a tiny habit. So I'm building this habit and this skill set, okay? So that way I'm going to become a better person so I can show up in life and in business better, right? So that's just one small example. This right here is what I'm about to talk about next, has a lot to do with this. This is a book that I wrote called The Take Action Effect. And what's happening right now, it's totally following this right here. And that is, there's a change happening, right? And whether you like it or not, you're forced to think about change. You're forced to think about pivoting maybe in your business or in your life, right? Your job may not be there in the future, right? So you're forced. So in this book, and I'm not pushing the book, by the way, in this book, there's things that have happened in my life that forced me to change, forced me back up against the wall, had to change. And because of that, I'm sitting here right today, doing what I love, but also this right here that I talk a lot in there is figuring out with your time how you can do something that you absolutely love every single day and then make money, in the process. Okay. But that comes later. But the next thing I want to talk about here. Okay. So we talked about time. Time is currency, and in your time and your skill set, that is currency. Okay. That is something that will pay you over and over and over again. Okay. So number two, and this is a big one, okay? Attention. If you can get attention in your market or even in your life with the right people, you will elevate. Okay. So on a small scale, if I start surrounding myself, so getting attention, meaning like I'm raising my hand, like, hey, I'm interested in that. And then another person's like, yeah, I'm interested in that. And then another person, and you get 4 or 5 people together, that's really, really powerful for you to become a better athlete, to be healthier, to just break away from work and have a good friendship or have good networks, right? So you're getting the attention of the right people. But now let's take it into a business lesson, okay? If you are able to go out there and create assets, this is the beautiful thing about online, guys, is if we're out there and we're putting out really magnets, okay, that attract the right people into our market, then everything else becomes easier. So an example of this would be like an email list, right? If I put something out there that signals to someone, this here is related to how to catch more bass or how to do keto, right? Like any of these things, and those people are starting to come into my ecosystem, I'm starting to build an audience, right, of some kind. Now, whether you're the face or not doesn't matter, right? So if I have this one, I'm trying to use like a prop here. If I have this as like this here is like the home, right? If I have this and I can put all of these other little things off of it that are bringing people over to my house or my place where I want to have these conversations that help people, you can see the power in that, right? So if we have attention, in a time like this, right? Like literally right now, the brands that I'm working in, all I need to do is type up an email and hit send, and I can send it out to people directly in that market like that. Okay. So that's the power of attention. So how do we leverage this time right now? Okay. So we can create these assets. Well, number one, we already said your time is valuable, but right now your time is really in your house for we don't know how long. Could be 3 weeks, could be a month, could be 3 months, who knows, right? So why not take this time and then start building a skill set by going out there and creating ways to bring attention back to your business or attracting the right people into your life, whatever it is, right? Right now, a lot of it's happening virtually, right? There's even gyms that are doing like virtual training. So they'll have like a trainer that'll just show up and you'll work out together online virtually, right? So I want you to understand that if you can get attention, forget about how to make money right now. Forget about it, okay? Because that becomes very, very easy if you get the attention of the right people. Now, I don't mean getting a whole group of people that have no idea who you are, what you do, or what your business does, or what your website talks about. But if you can get those people that are interested, so we have this whole, market, this whole group, but then we say, hey, whoever's interested in bass fishing, go over there in that group, and we're going to talk all about bass fishing. And you got a third of that crowd that goes over there. That's going to be something that they can leverage as far as conversations, learning more about your market, figuring out what they want, what they need help with, what they want to buy, right? All of those things become so much easier. So if you have attention, also, email list, that's a form of attention. Social media, that's a form of attention. Traffic to your website from pieces of content that you've sprinkled out there or on the internet, any of that stuff, right? So if you go out there and you broadcast, these seeds out there, I talked about this yesterday on our call. It's like, imagine taking like a bucket of seeds that once you throw them out there into the marketplace, people are going to start to find those seeds that are going to lead them back to your website, your home base, as we call it. So just think about that. All right. So those are 2 important things that I want you to think about right now. And I want you to do something about it. I don't want you to just go, oh, Scott, that makes a lot of sense. That's good. I want you to actually do something with it. All right. And again, that's why inside of this book, The Take Action Effect, it talks all about, first off, figuring out you, right? Figuring out your skill set. And don't tell me you don't have a skill set, because we all do, okay? And for the longest time, I didn't think I did either, right? But we all have some form of a superpower, right? And the thing is we want to double down on that. We want to leverage that. And then from there, we want to really, really go in and own what we're doing on a daily basis. And it can be small. And a lot of times it does start small. And that thing might be like, I need to figure out how to get attention in my market. How do I do this? Well, I create content or I answer questions. Here's a good one. Answer questions in your market. Just start there. Just answer questions, right? How to catch more bass in a pond. How to catch more bass in the fall, right? Can you use spinner bait to catch bass? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, all questions, all right? So that's what I want you to start thinking about. And when you start to do that, instead of just thinking about it, you got to start doing it. Right now, there is no excuse that any of you that are watching that have a business, you shouldn't be throwing magnets out there or seeds out there in the marketplace that will lead people back to your business and your market. Because I'll tell you what, right now, traffic isn't stopping on Google, all right, and Yahoo and Bing and YouTube and all of the search engines, right? Content is not stopping. If anything, it's going up, right? And so I just want you to think about that. The assets that you're building in your business and in your life, those are currency, okay? And what I mean by that is they will come back to pay you over and over and over again. And right now should be that wake-up call for you to be able to say, you know what? Now is the time. I've been putting this off. I'm going to get serious about this, and I'm going to be dedicated to getting out there and just creating these assets in my marketplace so it leads the right people back to my business or my brand. So this way here, when something like this happens, it doesn't affect you nearly as much as if you had to go to a job that you can't go to anymore, or they've downsized. I mean, this is happening to a lot of people. They're losing their jobs, but there's also going to be other times in our lifetime that you're going to have people or businesses cutting back, right? Or industries are going to change, or Amazon is going to change, or eBay is going to change. There's always going to be something that's going to happen. But the one thing I'll tell you is if you have your own attention, your own traffic channels, everything else will become so much easier, and you'll be more, you'll have a more stable, business and future. And that's why I like to call it future proofing. So before I wrap up here, was this good? Was this useful for you guys? Let me know in the chat. And if you have a quick question, I'd be more than happy to answer it for you. But again, I wanted these to be quick. I wanted them to be punchy, and I wanted to be able to have a cup of coffee with the ones that wanted to come on over the house virtually and have a cup of coffee and talk a little bit about how to get out of a funk when you're feeling like things are just going against you. What's up, Neaton? Mitch, what's up? Let's see, Media Zone. Let's see, Doug. What's up, Doug? Good morning, brother. Hope all is well. Yeah, cool. All right, good. All right, yeah. So if you guys are watching this on the replay after the fact, let me know if I should continue these. I'm gonna do these for a little while. We'll see how it goes, and then it'll kind of be like a pilot, right? We'll do a little pilot episode. This is session 1 of Coffee with Scott. I do the Ask Scott session on the podcast. And what we'll do is we'll show up here 10 o'clock a.m. So 10 a.m. And that'll be Eastern time. And I'm going to do that here at least for the next several weeks, because we are kind of in this crisis thing. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna see what happens, and I'm gonna be looking for you guys to show up. All right. So 10 a.m. Eastern time, Coffee with Scott. Help me come up with a cool name for this too. I was thinking like Power Shot or something like that. A little espresso of chunk down into, yeah, nice. Yeah, if you guys can come up with a cool name, you guys can help me come up with a cool little name. That would be awesome. And again, this doesn't have to be always business related. I think we, as business owners, we think that we have to always be talking about business, but a lot of times it's the mindset. We need to figure that stuff out, which is really, really important. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I can always answer them on another upcoming Coffee with Scott. and we can do that. And then also yeah, let your friends know if you think someone would get value from this. Share it with them. The more the merrier. I would love to hang out and have a cup of coffee with some new people as well. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Enjoy your day. Get out there and think about that as far as your time, your assets, and creating more attention in your market, and also finding the right people in your life that can elevate you. All right. So that's it, guys. Have an awesome, amazing day. And as always, take care, take action. I'll talk to you soon.